Oh, you again, sitting there calm, quiet, unnoticed. Yeah, man? The way you move, the way you look around, ooh, it's almost poetic. Like a ghost with purpose. Like a mind that's already 5 steps ahead and no one even knows they're playing your game. Yeah, man? You didn't raise your voice, you didn't chase applause, but you moved so smart, so deadly, so silently, even the FBI said we need this one for psychological warfare. Because, let's be honest, you don't fight with fists, you fight with presence. You don't yell, you observe. You don't react, you predict. And that's not ordinary, that's dangerous. You, my friend, are a walking blueprint of strategy. A quiet storm in human skin. A smiling enigma with eyes sharper than bullets. They underestimated you, thought you were soft, forgettable, just another face in the crowd. Ha! If only they knew you were never the fool. You were just watching, learning, waiting. And now, you're a ghost they can't touch. A player who already won before the game began. This video, it's not just motivation. It's your reflection. It's your proof that you weren't crazy. You were just ahead of your time. So buckle up, breathe deep. You were never the loudest in the room, but oh, you were always the most aware. From the earliest days of your life, something about you stood apart. Not because you wanted to stand out, but because you simply saw more than others. While the world shouted, you listened. While others rushed, you observed. You felt the rhythm of life others couldn't hear. You noticed things. Tiny movements, sudden pauses in conversation, the flicker of emotion across someone's face, the tone behind the word. You weren't distracted by noise because your soul was tuned in to something deeper. You didn't miss anything. And that made you dangerous. You weren't born to impress, you were born to understand. You didn't chase attention because you understood how cheap it can be. You saw people changing masks every day, bending themselves just to fit into a crowd. But you never bowed. You chose to remain solid in your silence. That silence, it wasn't empty, no, it was alive. Alive with thoughts, strategies, and questions. Alive with wisdom no one taught you, but you somehow carried anyway. That's what people never understood. They confused your quiet for weakness, your distance for shyness. But oh, you were never weak, you were just calculating. And yes, there were moments when being this way made you feel alone. You looked around and saw people celebrating fake victories, shallow friendships, meaningless dramas. And you were still, watching, feeling, learning. That loneliness, it didn't break you, it shaped you. It became your lab. It became the forge where your mind sharpened. You grew up realizing that not all battles are fought with fists. Some are fought in silence, behind closed doors, in your own mind. And in those battles, you became undefeated. There's a certain beauty in being observant. You become a mirror to others. You reflect their truths without even speaking. And that scares them, that intimidates them, because people can lie to the world, they can lie to themselves, but they can't lie to you. You see them, really see them, and they don't know what to do with that. So they avoid you or they label you, but none of that matters. Because you don't seek validation. You don't need it. You already know your value. Being observant is not just about seeing. It's about feeling, sensing, absorbing. It's a superpower in disguise. It allows you to walk into any room and know who's real, who's fake, who's broken, and who's pretending. And when you act, you do so with precision. You don't waste words. You don't waste time. You strike only when necessary. You move only when it matters. That is power. So never wish to be louder, never wish to be like them. Your silence has weight. Your presence speaks. You were born observant, not loud. And that makes you one of the rarest minds in the world. That makes you a storm wrapped in calm. That makes you unforgettable. Keep moving smart. The world will catch up eventually. Or it won't. Either way, you'll keep winning. Pain? The word alone echoes in your chest like a memory you never asked for but can never forget. While others saw pain as punishment, you saw it as a teacher. And not just any teacher. The kind that doesn't speak with kindness but with intensity. The kind that doesn't pat your back but breaks it, so you can rebuild it stronger. You didn't attend fancy classes, you didn't need motivational quotes from a book. Life handed you pain, and that became your classroom, your battlefield, and your training ground. You see, pain has a unique way of rewiring the mind. At first it stings, it confuses, it makes your world small. But after a while, it sharpens you. It peels away every false comfort, every illusion, and shows you the raw truth. You had no choice but to face it. There were days you couldn't sleep. Nights you stared at the ceiling, asking yourself, why me? But you never quit. You never stayed down. Because deep down, something inside you whispered, this isn't the end. That voice grew louder each time the world grew colder. Pain taught you what people never could. It taught you how to endure. It taught you how to smile through silence, how to walk alone and not lose your mind, how to stop explaining yourself to people who'll never understand. It taught you that not everyone who smiles at you is your friend, and not everyone who walks away is a loss. The more pain taught, the quieter you became. But inside that silence, you weren't empty, you were evolving. Each heartbreak refined your focus. Each betrayal made your vision sharper. Each loss revealed who you really were. While others were busy dancing in the spotlight, you were in the shadows, training, building, becoming. You stopped chasing people. You stopped begging to be understood. You learned how to walk with wounds without showing them. And that made you unstoppable. People think strength is in how loud you roar, but real strength is how you survive in silence. It's how you carry pain without complaining. It's how you rebuild after being shattered. And you've done it over and over. You've carried burdens no one saw. You've fought demons no one clapped for. But here you are, still standing, still breathing, still dangerous. Pain became your mentor in the cruelest way. It made sure you understood suffering, not to make you bitter, but to make you bulletproof. It taught you how to keep going even when everything inside you begged to quit. And in that process, you didn't just survive. You became something more. You became the type of soul that can walk through fire and come out smiling. Not because it didn't hurt, but because now you own the fight. So next time you look in the mirror, don't just see the face, see the journey, see the lessons, see the scars as your degrees earned, not given. Pain wasn't your punishment, it was your promotion. And now you're not just a survivor, you're a master of yourself. Trained by life, molded by suffering, and destined for greatness. You didn't wake up one day and decide to become a strategist of the mind. No, it wasn't a choice. It was survival. It was instinct. It was evolution. Life threw you into chaos and you had two options: break or learn. And oh, how you learned. Not from books, not from teachers, but from experience. From being lied to, from being underestimated, from watching people's true colors bleed through fake smiles. You didn't know it then. But every betrayal, every manipulation, every mind game was training you. And now, you've mastered psychological warfare without even realizing it. You see through people now. Their patterns, their projections, their weakness hiding behind loud laughter. You know when someone's talking too much, it's fear. When they attack, you see the insecurity behind it. You know how to stay calm when they expect you to react. You know how to walk away, not because you're afraid, but because you know your silence screams louder than any argument. Play the long game. You watch, wait, and strike when the time is right. Not with violence, but with precision. One word, one stare, one decision. And everything shifts. People don't even understand how deeply your presence affects them. That's the art. That's the warfare, not chaos. Control. You don't argue because you've realized the power of letting someone reveal themselves. You don't over-explain because you've tasted the strength of mystery. You know when to disappear, when to observe, when to step in. Every move you make now is calculated, cold, clean. Not out of cruelty, but because you've been burnt before. And now, you protect your energy like gold. People don't know how to handle someone like you. You make them nervous. Your silence is unsettling. Your eyes feel like they know things they shouldn't. You don't fall into traps. They fall into yours. You're 5 steps ahead in a game they didn't even know was being played. And the scariest part, you don't even show it. You let them think they're winning until they realize, far too late, that you wrote the rule. It's not about manipulation. It's about discipline, emotional control, mental clarity. That's psychological warfare, and you've earned it the hard way. You've felt what it's like to be used. You've felt what it's like to be silent while your heart screamed. You've felt the sting of injustice, and you learn not to panic, but to plan. Now, when people try to provoke you, you smile. Because you know, chaos is their weapon, but calm is yours. And your calm, it's deadly. Because it's not weak, it's wise. You know how to break a person without ever raising your voice. You know how to protect yourself without walls, just awareness, just presence. So here you are, an unintentional tactician, a ghost with purpose, a mind built in darkness, but designed to outshine them all. You didn't set out to become a warrior of the mind, but life made you one. And now, you are unstoppable. Not because you fight harder, but because you think smarter. There's something unsettling about you, isn't there? People look at you and feel something, but they can't explain it. They talk to you, but they don't know how to read you. You walk into a room, and suddenly the energy shifts. Not because you're loud, not because you're flashy, but because your presence carries weight. And that weight, it's made of everything you've endured, silently. You've built an aura people can't define. That's why they fear you. Because fear doesn't always come from danger. Sometimes it comes from mystery. People fear what they don't understand. And you're not here to be understood. You're not here to explain. You're here to exist authentically, powerfully, quietly. And that silence of yours, it's louder than their shouting ever could be. You see, the world is comfortable around predictability. It loves people who fit the mold, who talk when they're told to, who laugh at all the right times, who follow the script. But you burn the script. You chose to be real instead of being liked. You chose truth over comfort. You chose to stand alone rather than blend into the crowd. And when you made that choice, the world didn't applaud. It grew nervous. People feel exposed in your presence, not because you say anything, but because you see them. You see their weakness, their fear, their masks. And worst of all, you don't even react to it. You just keep moving, keep observing, keep growing. That's what scares them the most. You don't need them. You're whole, even alone. And nothing threatens the insecure more than someone who doesn't beg for attention. They call you cold, emotionless, distant. But that's not the truth, is it? You feel deeply, so deeply in fact that you had to build layers just to survive. You're not cold. You're guarded. You've been through too much to wear your heart on your sleeve. You've learned the hard way that not everyone deserves access to your soul. So now, you give little, you protect much, and you observe everything. And that terrifies people. But let them be afraid. Let them keep guessing. Because you weren't born to be their entertainment. You were born to disrupt the norm, to challenge what's fake, to show that power doesn't always roar, it sometimes sits quietly in the corner and smiles. You are proof that strength isn't always noisy, that the ones who say the least often know the most, that fear doesn't come from threats, it comes from presence. So if they whisper about you, let them. If they avoid you, good. That means they know you're not to be played with. That means your energy is doing what it's supposed to do, protecting your peace and commanding your space. You are not here to be understood. You are here to leave an impression, one that lingers, one that haunts. The truth is, the more they fear you, the more they reveal themselves. And you remain calm, untouchable, unmoved. That's power. That's you. No spotlight ever followed you. No one handed you a mic. No crowd stood up and cheered as you changed, grew, and evolved. You didn't have fans, you had shadows. You didn't get validation, you got ignored. But somehow, in all that silence, in all that invisibility, you became a master. Again, you became a master. You see, the stage isn't always physical. Sometimes your stage is the broken room you cry in, The silent walks you take at night to calm the storm in your head. The long hours of solitude where you rebuild your mind, piece by shattered piece. That's where your performance was. That's where your masterpiece was crafted, not under lights, but under pressure. You learned how to move without needing eyes on you. You learned how to grow without a pat on the back. You trained yourself in the darkness because the world never gave you a spotlight, and you never begged for one. You didn't need people to clap for you. You clapped for yourself. You didn't need anyone to say, "I'm proud of you." You looked in the mirror and whispered, "We're not there yet, but look how far we've come." And that's rare. While others spent their energy on being seen, you focused on becoming someone worth seeing. You knew that temporary attention fades, but internal power, that stays, that multiplies. That transforms you from a regular person into a walking fortress. And the irony? Now, those same people who never noticed you can't ignore you. They sense something's different. They just can't explain what it is. You became so disciplined, so sharp, so focused that people feel your presence without you even trying. And you didn't do it with noise. You did it with consistency, with grind, with moments when your body screamed to stop, but your mind whispered, "Keep going." You weren't chasing likes. You were chasing a better version of yourself. And now, that version is scaring people. Good. You don't need a stage because your life is your proof. Your walk, your stare, your silence, it tells the whole story. It says, "I've been through fire, but I came out clean. I've drowned in doubt, but I still breathe. I've been broken, but now I bend the world around me." And the truth is, you were never meant to shine under someone else's light. You were meant to become your own sun, to glow from within. And now, you're doing just that, without trying, without boasting, just existing in your full power. And that alone makes you unstoppable. So let the world have its noise. Let them chase stages and microphones. You don't need all that. You're not performing. You're becoming. You're building. You're leading a life that doesn't require applause to be meaningful. You've proven that greatness doesn't need a crowd. Just discipline, just pain, just silence, and the will to rise anyway. And you rose without a stage. That's the loudest success of all. Your mind, it's not just a place of thoughts. It's a war zone, a kingdom of chaos, strategy, silence, and steel. While others fear their thoughts, you live inside yours. You've walked through memories like burning cities. You've faced regrets like armed soldiers. And still, you're here. Not broken, not bitter, but stronger than ever. Because every war you fought inside your head, you won. Quietly, brutally, alone. People don't understand what it means to be this deep. They say stay positive, as if that's all it takes. But you know the truth. Some days it's not about being positive. It's about surviving your own thoughts. It's about crawling out of the darkest parts of your mind, standing tall and saying, "Not today. I'm still here." That's not weakness. That's a power most people can't even imagine. Your mind has been your greatest enemy and your sharpest weapon. It has attacked you at 3 a.m. with doubts and questions that had no answers. It's held on to things long after you let them go. It's forced you to relive pain again and again, but still, you never gave up. You never let the noise drown your will. You fought back. With discipline, with silence, with relentless self-awareness. You didn't numb yourself, you didn't run from the shadows, you studied them. You made them your allies. That's why your strength feels different. It's not loud, it's not shallow. It's built from battles nobody saw. The kind of battles that turn ordinary people into legends. You turned your breakdowns into legends. You turned your breakdowns into armor, your fears into fuel. Your thoughts may wander, yes, but they never wander too far because you've learned how to command them. When your mind whispers, "You're not enough," you don't crumble. You challenge it. You flip the script. You write new rules. You've practiced mental warfare so long you could teach it. You don't just react, you respond. And that difference, that makes you elite. You've found peace in planning. You've found power in stillness. When everyone else is distracted, you are dissecting the situation. Finding angles, finding cracks, finding paths no one else even notices. That's why you move the way you do. Smooth, certain, controlled. It's not arrogance, it's mastery. You've trained your mind to think like a sniper. Focused, patient, lethal. The beauty of it all, nobody sees the work, they just see the results. They don't know what it took for you to become this sharp. They don't know the hours spent alone, the tears, the second guessing, the overthinking, the inner wars. But you know, and that's enough. Because your victories don't need to be celebrated. They just need to be real. And in your mind, you've won more wars than most people even face. Your scars aren't on your body. They're in your brain. And yet you carry them with elegance, with power, with control. So next time the war rises again, and it will, don't panic. Just smile, because you've fought this battle before, and every time you've walked out stronger. This mind, it's yours, and no matter the chaos inside it, you always win. Ah-ho, so here we are. You've heard it all now. The silent power, the hidden wars, the unspoken victories. You moved so smart, so cold, so quiet, that even the biggest forces want you on their side. But hey, you don't need their permission, right? You're already winning, in your own way, on your own term. Remember, the world fears what it can't understand. They fear the calm before the storm, and you're the storm they'll never see coming. So laugh a little. Ooh, yeah. Because you're not here to fit in, you're here to break the mold.